The CCAR supervisory test is and will remain an important part of our supervisory framework, particularly for the largest and most systemically important firms. And I guess I'd start by saying that this year's test was by a good margin the most stringent test yet. Hypothetical losses for 2018 were $85 billion higher than during the 2017 stress test. And the hypothetical decline in the capital ratio was 110 basis points higher this year than last year. So a very significantly severe test. And it will result in a material increase in the effective aggregate capital requirement of the firms subject to the test. So we carefully evaluated the results. We voted on them on June 20th, and the next day the firms received a call from our staff, which informed them of the results and their options. This is the standard operating procedure that we follow every year. There's no negotiation, there's no haggling. The decision has been made the day before by the board, and they're just informed of their options, and they deal with them as they are. Almost all the firms finished above the required post-stress minimums, which is a sign of how well capitalized the industry is. Two firms that did not were required to restrict their distributions to past year's levels. That has always been the penalty for failing to meet the post-stress minimums. And that will require the firms to build capital this year, these two firms. The third firm was required to take certain steps regarding the management and analysis of its counterparty exposures under stress. As for so that was the same exact penalty was paid. We labeled these as conditional non-objects rather than objecting straight out to the plan. And we've done that over a period of years many times, and we thought that it was appropriate here. When we fail a firm, when we actually fail them and what we do is we send the plan back and say that your capital planning process is deficient. Please take this plan back, please fix it and bring it back to us and we'll look at it again. So that sends a signal that we believe that the capital planning processes of the firms are deficient in some serious way. As I mentioned, in a number of cases, we've gone with sort of an intermediate sanction, and we felt that that was appropriate here. One reason for that is the timing of the tax bill, as we've mentioned. And firms plan, of course, well in advance so that they'll have enough capital to pass the tests. This particular bill passed, was signed into law on December 22nd. We use fourth quarter capital levels for the test, so the tax TCJA resulted in a significant decrease in the level of capital these firms have. But of course, they don't benefit from what in longer term will be a lower tax effect on their earnings. So I think whereas any analyst would look at that law and say that it's positive for banks and for their ability to earn money, it was strictly a negative in this test. So we looked at that, and among other factors, we decided to use the conditional non-object. And I'll stop there, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I appreciate that explanation. And essentially what I'm hearing you say is that the same, in fact, even a stricter test was applied, and the same standards of review were used in your analysis and in the consequences that were applied.
That's right, and I just would reiterate our commitment to this this particular supervisory stress test. It's a very important thing for us, and we'll make sure to keep it stringent.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.